AMD has been announced as the official partner for Starfield, which has raised an obvious question. Will there be DLSS and XESS? But there's more to this than meets the eye, and it's not all doom and gloom, I assure you. 07, and welcome back to the channel. So AMD, Team Red, the official partner for Starfield, and the community has gone crazy with the expectation that DLSS is just off the cards. But let's pump the brakes here for a moment. Firstly, neither AMD nor Bethesda have actually formally stated that DLSS and XESS will be excluded from Starfield. At most, we have no comment, which I admit is a good indication that FSR 2.0 will be the only upscaling technology available, but it's not conclusive yet. Now, GPU partnerships are hardly a new thing. In fact, both Team Red and Team Green have been doing these for years. The issue here is that Nvidia, at least of late, tend not to force exclusion of FSR 2.0. Having said that though, at a high level, from a business perspective, this deal does make sense. Maybe not to us as gamers. AMD make the CPU and the GPU that sits in the Xbox console. We all know this. So working closely with them to ensure they get the best performance out of the consoles makes perfect sense, even if it is only 30 FPS, which is a whole different conversation entirely. For the PC crowd though, it highlights a couple of areas of concern depending on which GPU you have and what side of the fence you sit on for certain graphical nice-to-haves. For a start, I think it's obvious we can almost definitely expect AMD cards to perform better in Starfield than the equivalent Nvidia cards. To what extent? Well, we don't know, and we won't know until the game's released. Secondly, you can also expect that ray tracing will not be a heavy feature in Starfield, at least not to any great extent. AMD is known to be lacking in this area compared to Nvidia, and if Bethesda are working exclusively with AMD, I think that's a problem for those of you who care about ray tracing. Is that an issue? Well, that's entirely down to you and your preferences. We do have to remember though, that there are AMD graphic card users out there. It's not just Nvidia. But then we come down to the PR aspect of this, and let's face it, it's not good for either company. The biggest game of the year siding with either of the GPU companies would garner an element of pushback from the gaming community, and rightly so. These sort of deals, while not unknown, are an absolute sucker punch to gamers, and it provides nothing to the gaming community as a whole other than feelings of animosity if you're on the air quotes wrong side. The fact that you could be on the wrong side when it comes to buying a game is ridiculous. So have AMD and Bethesda shot themselves in the foot here? Well, let me know in the comments. There is some good news here though. Firstly, you can subscribe to the channel and help a small YouTuber out and feel great about yourself for the rest of the day. But really, there is time to turn this around. Keep the pressure on AMD, and at the very, very least, they may confirm one way or the other if DLSS and XESS will actually be included in the game or not. And if they hold fast and refuse to comment any further, then you, the gamer, make your comment with your wallet if you feel that strongly about it. Number 2, Bethesda games are highly moddable. A modder who has previously modded DLSS into a Fallout game in the past has said that a DLSS mod will be available before the end of early access phase. So that's what, 5 days? So DLSS will be coming. Yes, I admit it's not ideal to have to mod a game that you've just bought just to get DLSS, but that's where we may well find ourselves. A good point number 3. If you happen to be in the market for a GPU and are already looking at an AMD GPU, then there is a very, very good chance that you're going to get Starfield bundled with it if you're prepared to wait just that little bit longer. Now that's a win if you're one of those people who'd be buying Starfield anyway. So it's not all doom and gloom, fellow space nerds. DLSS will come in some fashion. You might just have to mod it in. So do you want to know my thoughts on Starfield? Check this video out.